Hi. So I'm going to give a follow-up to my talk in Sao Paulo. So we have been working on this for a couple of years now. I'm sorry for anybody who didn't see my talk because it explains much about the interaction between humans and type, but it is really focused on the interaction between people, users of the Adobe Creative Cloud products and the typography in those applications. So this all started in Barcelona with a big shouting from the back, a whole campaign, and then very soon, I think only 2 months later, we were in New York to start this new venture, which is the very long name Adobe Type Customer Advisory Board. So we're a bunch of people who want to try to improve the Type UI in Adobe products. This has been started up by Michael Ninnis, who was the head of development for InDesign and Illustrator. He has moved on, so now we have somebody new heading the group, which is Dan Radigan. We couldn't be more happy because he's a type designer and knows everything. He's now senior at Adobe Type department. Our group also changes. There's people that come in and go out. We're not like this fixed group. I think there's only a couple of people that are still there from the beginning, but we have people come in and out. Like last lunch we had, Indra joined us for the user side. We had a great addition who is going to come up on stage in a little bit. That's Vinod Balakrishnan, and who is a developer for Photoshop. And whereas we knew that back in the day we didn't even have a glyphs palette in Photoshop, now they are actually leading the effort, and they come up with great new interface IDs and typography support and so on. So that's very exciting. So what have we been doing? Oh yeah, I've got this one. So what have we been doing? So this all started in November 2014. There were already things in the works because we had the glyphs panel in Photoshop pretty early after that. That's like, yeah, half a year. That was the first great breakthrough because Photoshop was really lagging behind. Then the nice improvement was that we're trying to move away from having to go to the menu, having to go to like the little windows. So now we're trying to get the interaction between humans and type on the canvas. So now we have the selection of alternate glyphs on the canvas. That was October 2015. 2016, it was integrated in Photoshop. And also, wow, one of the things, there's big things and there's small things. Like, for example, the grouping per font family, where you have to, when you change a font, it keeps the bolds, the italics, and the several weights where available. So you don't have to select every single bit of type and then custom change the typeface. Then InDesign had also the on-canvas OpenType in new and preview, and very important, that was one of the first things that we asked, like human readable stylistic sets. And actually, it turned out that, or still, a couple of type designers do not know how to implement that, how to program that in their OpenType features. There is a tutorial, an explanation in the glyphs discussion group, so you can add human readable stylistic set names, which means that the user will not have to cycle through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to figure out what is going to change. I'm going to demonstrate that in a second. And then, yeah, Illustrator is actually lagging behind now, where Photoshop used to lag behind, now it's Illustrator. It's like a bit hard to catch up. We also had the on-canvas selection of alternate glyphs, and also the family-aware font style changes. So this is a little demo, like very tiny, it's not very impressive. But so we have a text box, and now if we, hold on, this doesn't work, yeah. If we select a character, it will show the alternates on canvas. So you don't have to go to any specific menu, whatever, you just see. And there's immediately the little blue line tells you there is something. Also, if you select the whole string, it will show you the blue line will be in the first possible spot where there are alternates available. So you can easily pick the alternate glyph, but you also switch to small caps, superscript, of course, wherever available. And that's nice. So there's not this long list with grayed out options. It only shows you what is available. Here, for example, we have one that has non-kerning Fs. And then if you select it, it shows you what has been selected. It shows you a little preview. And that is the new thing. So this before was only single characters, and now you see more in context when you select more than one character. But there's also something else, and many people overlook this because, of course, the interface indications, they are visible, but try not to be too intrusive, which means that sometimes the symbols are a little small. But if you look there, under the N, there's a little O, the OpenType icon, and if you click on that, it gives you all the options for the string of text. And you can see that the string of text is repeated, and it shows you, all right, there's an alternate A, alternate K, short F, and you can also turn to small caps. So if you go to the option, you click it, and it changes, and it also shows you, even though it wasn't selected in the first place, it shows you this is where the change happened, and this is what you asked for. And also, so these, the alternate A, alternate K, short F, these are the human readable stylistic sets. So if your typeface has not been outfitted in the OpenType features with human readable names, it will simply show stylistic set 1, 2, 3, but will display what will happen when somebody selects this option. And of course, if you want to go for small caps, then you just get the whole thing going, and then it changes it. And it's even that precise that it doesn't include the spaces and the period, which is pretty funny. So what's next? We had lunch at Typographics New York, and Dan asked me, all right, where are we? Where were we going 3 years ago, and asked for my personal wish list. I want to do away with this, and I think that one of the main problems in the whole interface is more of a language nature. Some things are not properly worded, so people have wrong expectations when they see certain menus. So we still have a division between, based on technology, which makes no sense because we're 17 years into OpenType. So I prefer to have something like this. Of course, there's only to select the options. Like John Berry pointed out, the default should be the expert typography. But that is where we select. So on the left side, we would have the selection of typeface, size, leading, all these things. On the right side would be anything going from alternates to whatever stylistic sets and so on. So that would make it much clearer for people going in, because now, for example, you can have superscript selected in the font menu, but also in the OpenType menu, and the one is scaled, the other one is true. We have to do away with this and get this more like the basic typography and expert. There again, we have a language problem. You don't want expert typography. You don't want to scare away users into exploring these features. So there again, we have to think really hard how we call those menus. That's very important. Yeah, stylistic sets still are way down, like 3 levels down. So this needs to be brought to the fore. The affinity competitors have it as a separate floating window. So I don't know how to do this. Of course, we as the advisory board, we have no impact on what exactly gets implemented. So we just give the IDs, we just send out messages, and then it's all about the available budget, available people, programmers, what their priorities are, if anything gets implemented and how. And I also want to have tooltips in the glyphs palette, because when you go to glyphs and you hand select something, I would like to have a tooltip that says, hold on, you're doing this manually, but if you select whatever stylistic set or alternates, this will be done automatically for the whole block of text. So we want to go away from the glyphs palette because that's simply like metal type, picking out your sorts, and we want to have the computer do the work, because what's the point of having a computer if you do everything by hand? And Petter from Blokland will have very interesting things to say 2 talks after me. Figure styles. I keep going back whenever I say, like, hold on, this is aligning, all style. No, I want all style and hanging and so on, lining vertically, and then either tabular or proportional. because that's the main thing that you want. Like, do you want tabular figures, proportional, and then you do the sub-selection. And also not have grayed out, but just only the selections that are available within the typeface. And of course, that's for further down the road, new ways of selecting types and discovering types, that people that have sizable type collection have new ways of finding, or Typekits subscription. They already have similar typefaces. There is already a function in Photoshop where it can automatically look for what typeface it is, and that is also something that we're looking at. And yeah, this is translates. That's the end of my talk. I want to give the podium to Vinod, who's been excellent in adding stuff to what we're trying to do.
All right, we got it. I'm Vinod Balakrishnan from Adobe Systems. I'm going to talk about variable fonts, yet another talk. Anyway, so it's been exactly a year since the announcement of variable font in last ATypI. Ever since the announcement, a bunch of folks at Adobe, they've been actively working on bringing variable font supports in Adobe products. I want to show you the result of the hard work put together by Adobe folks. Being said that, I'm going to show a demo of variable font support in Adobe Photoshop. All right, let's see what's there. We'll be supporting both CFF2 and TrueType formats. So you must be wondering, how can we do that? In Adobe, we make fonts, we make font engine which parses the font tables, we make rasterizers, text engine, products, all those things. So that's why we can go ahead of operating systems. And so you don't see these supports in operating systems yet. I mean, CFF2 and TrueType. And we will be supporting both named and custom instances. I'll be showing that in the demo. We will be bundling 6 variable fonts. Let's get the details. So we'll have a Acumen variable concept, which has 3 axes, weight, width, and slant. Then myriad variable concept. Then minion variable concept. It has weight and optical size. So if you see first 3 fonts, these are called concept fonts. So that means which has limited character set, something close to Latin 1. And the last 3 are source families, and which has only 1 axis. And all the source family fonts are available in GitHub now. OK, let's see. Let's get to the Photoshop. All right, let me move this thing slightly a little bit this side. This is actually a Photoshop document. This is a font menu, and you can see this. This is the Acumen font selected. Sorry, yeah. So you can see the sliders. The sliders are added to the property panels. So you can see the 3 sliders, which shows the axis values, weight, width, and slant. So just look at, let's play with Acumen. So it has 90 named instances, so 90. So this comes from, so the traditional Acumen, it had 90 subfamily names. We just migrated all of them. That's what it is. So just fly through this. So you can see this one. You can see in the property panel how the values are changing when I move the mouse. See, these are the 90. You can see the preview. And also, you can see we added a new icon for variable font. So let's scroll down. See, this is you can also see the update in the glyph panel. See, let's come to the all the way bottom. See, if you see here, this is called white, ultra black, italic, all the three axes having the maximum value. So if you want to see slightly scaled up, you can do that too. Okay, that's Acumen, and I want to show you the arbitrary instances. So arbitrary instances or custom instances, it's very important for Adobe because it gives new design opportunity for our customers. That's why we added, I know that some of the folks sitting in the crowd were in the very first working group meeting of variable font at Google, Mountain View. So we were just talking about just reducing the payload size or font size. That was the initial goal. Then custom font instance discussion came later. Adobe was very keen on that. So I'm going to show you how you can make a custom instance. See, I'm playing with the width axis. Sorry, weight axis. Then I'm playing, this is the width axis. So there's one thing you want to notice is, so when I play with the width axis, just watch the subfamily name. So we are not directly putting the axis name there. See, it has changed from condensed to semi-condensed. So what we are doing is, actually, we are honoring the stat table. So if you are building the fonts, make sure to have enough support in the stat table so that we can put some meaningful name for the custom instances. So once again, I can show you this one. It's changing from extra condensed, semi-condensed, see white. Anyway, you got the idea. So now I want to show one more feature. It's just watch what's happening. Some of you might have already figured out from my first. Do you see what's happening? That is transitional glyph. All right. So I want to show you one more font. That's minion variable. So it has an optical size. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So here we go. Optical size. It also has the width. So that's all I have to show in Photoshop. So if any of you are developing in a variable font and want to see how it works in Photoshop, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to add you to our pre-release program. And if you have any questions, I'll be around. That's all. Thanks.